up, tribe? How's the Good Vibes Soul Tribe doing this awesome Sunday? Hopefully you guys are already having a good day, because if you're watching this, then you've already been blessed because you've been able to open your eyes and enjoy this awesome day. So hopefully you know that, and your day continues being a great day. I do have a message today. We're going to talk about properly vetting toxic people when dating. And actually, this applies even if you're not dating, but I'm going to talk about it in the dating aspect. But I will I'm going to give the room a few minutes to allow other people to show up. And in the meantime, I'm going to light some Palo Santo and set the mood to make sure there is no negative energy. Hey Stella, how you doing? Good morning to you. We're gonna have a good old conversation today about properly vetting toxic people. Should be very interesting. And at the end, if you guys have questions or you want to talk about other things, then the Q&A will follow after the messages. Put them in the chat, and I will attempt to get to them afterwards. So yeah. Yeah, I'm also grateful for a new day too, man. I'm always grateful whenever I'm able to wake up. Hopefully you guys have your favorite beverage of choice, whatever that is. I have some, today it's not coffee, today it's ginger and lemon. So yeah, man, it's gonna be a great day. I'm gonna have a barbecue, might go on some hikes. I'm gonna share this message. We're gonna have a good old chat. But yeah, man, it's a great day to have a great day, as you would say, Stella. So I'm all about that. So, but yeah, we'll give it a couple more minutes. I'll allow people to show up. In the meantime, we're going to be talking about properly vetting toxic people when dating. And as I mentioned, this applies not even when dating, but we're going to talk about it in the dating aspect. And I'm going to give you, I don't share very many of my experiences, but I'm going to give you one of my experiences, which provided me wisdom, because that's how you get wisdom, is by not making the correct decisions or by making mistakes and actually learning from it. And now if you don't learn from it, you don't get wisdom. I mean, you might get some more added wisdom because you might go through a few more experiences that adds to your wisdom until you actually learn. But wisdom is once you learn, and you can use that and take that with you for the rest of your life and share it with other people. So yeah, absolutely, Stella. Good vibes for this soul tribe. So give it a couple more minutes, and then yeah, man. But it's really important to vet people. It doesn't matter if you date platonic or romantic. It doesn't matter, man. And the thing about people, a lot of these people are very good, especially if they have an insecure attachment style. If they have an insecure attachment style that was developed from childhood, most of the time, it was developed early in age in life, and it was used as a protection mechanism. And so they've been doing this for their entire life. Some not even aware of it, probably most not even aware of it, to be honest. But they do it, and it's out of protection. And so we need to, this is not a negative topic. This is not to demonize anyone. This is for us, because we need to understand that we need to be, in order to have a positive relationship, then you need to see what a negative relationship is like, and you need to understand that. So we're going to talk about that here in about 1 minute. So 1 minute, we're going to jump into the message, and then I will share this and some of my experience. So, but yeah, and then after that, if you guys want to jump into Q&A, we can do that. Yeah, interpersonal relationship skills are important. Yeah, I mean, there's so many dynamics to a relationship, no matter if it's platonic or romantic. But it's important for us. It starts with us, because you can't help other people. They have to want to help themselves, but you can help yourself. And we can't complain about being in shitty relationships whenever, part of that is our choice. And this is why it's so important for us to be able to identify and vet people that are not in our highest good. So let's go ahead. We already waited enough. Let's go ahead and talk about this subject. So today we're going to talk about properly vetting toxic people when dating. And then after that, we'll jump to Q&A. So it can be tough vetting people, no matter if it's platonic or romantic. The first piece of work that needs to happen in order to properly vet toxic people is for you to complete your personal development. And I'm going to start with that because it does. It starts with us. We are 50% of any relationship that we choose to have. So we always have to start with us and your personal development and install boundaries, which are non-negotiable. And you need to stick by those boundaries no matter what. It's very important. They don't mean a hill of beans if you don't stick by them. They're not going to work. It's not going to be beneficial to you. So this means you communicate with a person. So whoever it is you're having a relationship with, if things are progressing. Now, I'm not saying you should talk about this on your first date, but I'm talking about if you're getting at the 30-day mark and things are getting serious, then it's very important for you to express what's important to you and your boundaries and what's non-negotiable. This is important. The reason you want to communicate this is because number one is they can't read your mind. And they won't know until you tell them. And number two is, and this is important for this one in particular subject, number two is because if you don't tell them, then the first thing a toxic person will say is, I didn't know. And, to be truthful, well, if you didn't tell them, they really didn't know. But that's why it's important to communicate it. So you set the foundation of what is important to you. Next, never rush commitment. It's okay to exclusively date if that's a mutual agreement between the two. But you want to give the relationship time to develop. It develops slowly. If the one example I can give you is it's like cultivating a garden. You don't go from throwing seeds on the ground to coming out the next day and having whatever it is you're trying to grow. It takes a time period, and usually it takes longer than 60 days. Now keep that time frame in mind because we're going to get to that because 60 days is a very important time. So, but what I'm saying is that all relationships should develop naturally. Let them unfold the way that they're going to unfold. So as I mentioned, when I say develop, unfold, let it unfold unrushed and naturally. When we rush, then toxic behaviors begin showing, but it shows up in what we can be confused with something positive. It's actually a negative and a mirage of something positive. This is love bombing, which a lot of toxic people or those that have insecure attachment style do almost always. They almost always do it because it's natural to them. It's normal to them. It's their norm. And if you're not able to identify that, you might say, oh, wow, this person's really awesome. They're like, investing a lot of time into me, and they're showering me with all these compliments and all these different things, all things that more than likely you want deep inside your heart. That's what you really want. But at the same time, this is evolving the relationship unnaturally, and it's called love bombing. So, at what point is it okay to commit? You're probably thinking that. Well, truthfully, there's no magic number, but you should date consistently 1 to 2 times a week for a minimum of 60 days. So you should be going out consistently 1 to 2 times a week for the first 60 days. Why is this? Well, let me tell you. This provides you time to watch a person's actions and see if their actions match their words. Most people will show their true colors within the first 60 to 90 days of dating. Now, I told you to keep that number in mind, 60 days, when I was talking about how long it takes a garden to actually form and produce fruits and vegetables. Now, we learn a lot from nature. If you actually watch nature, it will teach you a lot about life. I've learned almost every single one of my lessons from nature. During this time, you need to ensure you're being brutally honest with self. Make sure they match the characteristics and moral values that reflect you. This also gives you the opportunity to witness their honesty, or if they have integrity, amongst other things, if they're truthful. If they are a dishonest person, then they will do many things such as cheat, lie about seeing other people, lie about their actions on social media. Now, this is just a few examples, and they're very good at it. Lie about their whereabouts. Timelines might not match up, and usually toxic people have been doing this the entire life, so they will be very good at lying. Very good. Their whole life is really a mirage. Which is why you want to give your relationships always 60 to 90 days minimum. No rushing. And if they attempt to rush commitment, they might say something like, I've never met someone like you before, or you're just a very unique person. I've never met, like you're the only one in their life that they've ever met. That you're a very unique individual. I mean, I am a very unique individual, but the thing is they want to make it like, you know, they've never met anyone like you and that you're super special. They might also say, I think we are soulmates, or I love you. And now this is the first, if this behavior is done with, then it's usually them love bombing, and it's usually done within the first month of you seeing them. And if this is love bombing, so if it's done within the first 30 days of dating, then it is love bombing. Now, you can care about somebody, and you might love them like in a way where basically you care about like if something happens to them or something like that. But to actually love them, now I have unconditional love for everybody, but that's love. You know, that's not romantic love. This is love that I have for everybody because that's how I want to be treated. Now, to honestly like love somebody deeply, it's going to take you longer than 30 days. So this automatically should be a red flag, and you should halt progress and express your boundaries. Nothing else matters at this point of the 60 and 90 days minimum to vet people. Last, don't get hung up on statuses. And when I say statuses, I mean like positions of a job or civic or religious statuses, wealth, what they own, etc. Don't all that stuff is irrelevant. You want to get to know them as a person. Does their words match their actions? Does their energy match their actions and words? And if none of that lines up, then you might, you know, I'm sure that your intuitive ability will be going off. You'll be getting things in your stomach. You'll be getting signs from spirit that's like, hey, you know, you need to, this is not good. And a lot of times we ignore those things. We ignore those things, or we even ignore, especially if you know, the people around us are very concerned and they express their concerns to us. You know, we might ignore that. So I'm going to share one of my dating experiences. I don't usually share my personal experience, and I'm not going to share anything that's, because this is not about criticizing anyone or anything like that. This is just to share with you why you want to wait 60 to 90 days and you want to be brutally honest with yourself and see things for what it is and not with rose-colored glasses. So, as I mentioned, I'm going to share an experience with you guys. The wisdom that I share is not only intuitive, but it's from making mistakes, and I hope to help someone. So I met this lady. She seemed all together. She owned a business. And after her first date, she asked me to take a test. It's a love language test, which whenever I heard that, I was like, man, that's really cool, man, because, you know, I think that was the first time I ever met somebody that that had asked me to be able to take one of those tests. And, you know, for me, I'm like all about bettering myself and taking tests and stuff. And even though I knew what my love language was, I hadn't taken one in a while and I wanted to retake it. So I did. So I was like, this is great. Then after a couple of weeks of dating, she began wanting to spend more time together, which led to us almost spending every day together after work. Now this was only at like the 3 to 4 week mark. This right there should have been my first red flag. I actually recognized love bombing, but I went along anyways. And that was probably my first crucial mistake, was going along with it anyways and not reestablishing my boundaries, and making sure that I'm not rushing anything and I see things for what they are. But I didn't. So fast forward 60 days and she made plans to spend New Year's in Mexico. Sorry, there's a gnat. And didn't tell me, nor was I invited. So this was, for me, the second red flag. And actually it was probably the third red flag, because it also at that time I started noticing how personal, close inner circle relationships were, they weren't very good. Let's put it that way. They were very unstable, which should have been my second red flag, because it was really right around that same time frame. Not that I'm using a timeline or anything like that, but that's to say that, you know, this is where we are seeing things with rose-colored glasses, and this is why I have wisdom, is because I make mistakes too. I'm perfectly imperfect person. So while she was in Mexico, she was very unavailable and would make excuses and said she was visiting a friend. Come to find out, the friend was a dude that was labeled a roommate since she owned a condo there. Now that should have been red flag number 4. So the day that she was supposed to return, she didn't return. She said she couldn't find her passport. How convenient. So fast forward, she would return, then go back to Mexico during Valentine's Day and then during Easter. Now I have stopped counting at red flags. I stopped counting red flags because this is probably red flag 1 million. So, because this person at this point is electing not to spend holidays with you or include you. So at this point, we have been dating approximately 6 months. Now it's approximate. That's why that's an extreme red flag. So when she went to Mexico in April, she attempted to play off like it was for business and even sent me a screenshot of her sitting on the bed with a heating pad doing self-help workbook on her laptop. But this is why it's very crucial for you to pay attention. What was very telling was, and was very crucial, was what she was writing on the laptop. It was a question, because it was a self-help question, which said something to the effect of, why do you like your life, wealth, job, and friends? And her response was, I flew to Mexico to see, this is not the person's real name, flew to Mexico to see Bob. I miss him so much when I'm not here. Our relationship is perfect. Now, this is why you got to keep your eyes open. So I never confronted her about it, and later seen that she deleted it. When she returned, we met up, had a few drinks, and she began talking about this dude. And it was like every other sentence. And so I basically told her, since this guy is so great, then maybe you should date him instead of me. The reason this is important is there was, at a minimum, 4 to 5 red flags just in this one circumstance. Now, I didn't share every single thing because I'm not going to go, it's not pertinent. It's not for me to bash anyone, but it's to share with you guys. This is why I am sharing this message, because you have to keep your eyes open. You got to remove the rose-colored glasses, and you got to see a situation for what it is and not what you want. Because if you're doing that, then you're going to be severely confused, and you're going to waste a lot of time and energy. So at a minimum, there's like 4 to 5 red flags within the first 60 days. So when you take your time to allow the relationship to develop, you're also allowing time to work for you and filter people that are not in your highest good. Allow all relationships to develop naturally. Just let it happen. If it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But you never want to force any relationship, no matter if it's platonic or romantic. Those that actually do care about you, they will make an effort without you even saying anything. I mean, you should still say things like set your boundaries and whatnot. But people that are in your highest good are always going to want to be there for you, no matter what. Never wear a pair of rose-colored glasses while vetting potential partners, and always maintain respect for your boundaries. If you don't respect your boundaries, nobody else is going to respect your boundaries. So that's why it's extremely important to make sure whenever you recognize that, hey, this is getting a little bit serious, then it's time to sit down and at least express your boundaries to that person and what your non-negotiables are. And as Maya Angelou says, when a person tells you who they are, believe them. Toxic people are superior liars. Superior. It's their norm. And time will allow red flags to surface. You just got to see them. See a person for who they are and not the fantasy that you want them to be. And with that, you guys, I send you much healing, love, and light. And just remember, the 3 most important things in life is peace, love, and happiness. All right, guys. If you guys have questions, then put them in. Let me see. Let me catch up with the chat and see what's in there. But now we can, if you want to talk about a topic or something like that, then put it in the chat, and we will discuss it. See, Stella says, when people are not transparent or intentionally deceptive, it is difficult without taking the time, like you mentioned, to discover the true intentions. Yeah, that's true. And a lot of times, even though some toxic people are very good at what they do, they still make mistakes. You just got to see them. And if you know what a good relationship is supposed to be, and it doesn't match up, well, there you go. Don't try to force it like, hey, I can make this person change, or, maybe if we go along a little longer, then they'll change. They ain't gonna change. I'm telling you right now. And you're just gonna waste your most valuable commodity that you have as a human being is your time and energy. And once you dedicate that to anybody or anything, you're never getting that back. There is no return policy on your time and energy. That's why it's extremely important. So yeah, anyway, it was a very valuable experience for me to gain wisdom, and hopefully you guys learned something from that situation and it helped someone. But I tell you what, man, this is why, the vibrational match. Yeah, and that's another thing, vibrational match. So a lot of times these people will also act like they were your vibrational match, and they even take on develop your persona, where basically that makes you seem like they are the person that's your equal. Now, this is why it's so important to not wear rose-colored glasses and see it for what it is. And that's why personal development is so crucial, because once you get to the point where you're at that 80-90% healed, you're doing your deliberate development, self-improvement, and personal healing, and you know what your boundaries are, you know what your non-negotiables are, you know what you want in life, and you don't need another person or anything else to make you happy, because happiness is within you, then it makes it a lot easier for you to vet these type of people. So that's a good point. So yeah. Anyway, if you have questions, put them in the chat. I'm just gonna sit here and talk about like certain things. And if you haven't visited my sister channel, please visit my sister channel, Papa's Fusion Kitchen. I'm excited about that channel. If you can't tell, because I love to cook and I love sharing recipes and doing that kind of stuff. I like doing this too a lot, but I like to stay creative. So, but yeah, so anyway, but yeah, so it's I started a new series on toxic behaviors, and yeah, so, and the last one I did was victim mentality, and it's very important that we basically vet these type of people. It's not to shame them or anything. It's, you need to know who is best for your highest good. That's what you need to know, because if you don't, then eventually you will find out, maybe a hard way, that how certain people are not in your highest good. And they could be anyone. It can even be relatives. It don't matter. Humans are humans. It don't matter the relation. So, Stella shares some personal development books that she found was helpful. How to Do the Work by Nicole Lepera. I don't know if I said that right. Or Emotional Detox by, I'm not going to be able to, Shariana Boyle. So if you guys want to read those books, or check them out, they're in the comment section. Thank you, Stella, for sharing those. That's just a few helpful examples to be able to help with personal development. Some tools to your tool belt. So yeah. So, but yeah, man. Hopefully you guys had a good April, and have some good plans for today. If you got any more questions, put them in the chat, or if you have a topic you want to talk about, put it in there and we will discuss. But yeah, I'm excited today. I'm gonna I'm gonna cook up some steaks and some cheese grits and probably some asparagus and some chicken wings. Any strategies for how to disengage from the person after you discover their toxic qualities? Well, I mean, I would tell you this. One of the things I'm a very I don't believe in being. I believe in being honest and transparent and letting a person know, um, how I feel in a very the most positive um, um, in the most positive way. Not being confrontational, because I'm always straightforward with people. I don't tell people what they want to hear. I tell people what I express my boundaries, and I try to tell people things that would actually benefit them and not harm them. Now, how to disengage is different for a lot of different situations, because it really depends on how toxic the person is. Now, if that person's a physically abusive person, or a person that you feel like that could like harm you, that's going to be a really, really touchy subject, because most of the time those types of people, they ain't gonna care what you have to say. And who knows? I mean, you never want to put your life in danger or anything like that. So that might get to the point where that you have to get law enforcement involved, unfortunately. But if it's a person that's just a toxic person, that's your life's not in danger or anything, they're just being shady individuals, then I would just, and you still have contact with them, then I would just tell them, be transparent with them and just say, hey, I've noticed this, and this, and this. This doesn't line up with my boundaries or my moral standing, and I'm not appreciative of how I feel, how this has affected me. And so I think that it's best that we go in our separate ways. And you want to do it in a way where basically, you're laying down the facts. You're not attacking them, but you're expressing what you've already hopefully expressed in the beginning. So basically, it's just reverting them back to the beginning of things that you expressed, and then you are saying, you're letting them know, hey, I've noticed this, and this, and this, and this, and all of these are non-negotiable red flags to me, and I just think that it's time for us to go our separate ways. Oh, and recover after experiences. Yeah, I mean, I will tell you this. It's no matter what. I have to say that I think endings of relationships are difficult for everyone. Some people are better at just ignoring the fact that it ended, and you'll start seeing a lot of people, how they cope with it is just staying busy. You know what I'm saying? Like, they just don't want to think about it. But it's actually really healthy for you to think about it. So my recommendation is, and for what I do, is I take a lot of alone time. I need alone time, number one, to recharge. But number two is I take a long time to reflect. And I don't just reflect on things about that person, but I reflect on myself. Like, what things did you do, or what things did you see, or what things did you ignore, or what could you have done to make sure that this didn't happen, and what are you going to do to ensure this doesn't happen in the future? And so, taking a long time. Now, they say there is a study actually done that says for all relationships that are serious relationships, meaning like it's longer than 6 months, or you've been dating somebody for a year or years, they say that it takes a minimum. Now, everybody's different, keep in mind. This is not cookie cutter, but it takes a minimum of 6 months to recover from every year that you were in um, a, a terrible relationship, basically. And so you'll often see these people that just are jumping from relationship to relationship. They're not healed and they're not ready for another relationship. And that right there is definitely a red flag, and that's why you need to vet. And the first date is a definite vetting date. But let me tell you something about the first dates, you guys. It's just a first date is like an interview. You know, when you show up, when you have an interview for a job that you really, really, really want, are you going to show up on your best foot or your most terrible foot? More than likely, you're going to show up and you're going to show them, all the good qualities about you. That's what you're going to do. And anybody else is going to do the same thing. And a toxic person is very good at showing up to interviews. So, you want to ask quality questions, and quality questions is number one is you want to know, like, when was your last relationship, and you want to know that because, like, if they just recently got out of a relationship like a week or a month ago and it was like a long relationship, well, this person should not be dating. I mean, you're gonna have a more than likely you're gonna have issues because they haven't done any healing. It takes longer than 30 days to heal. Let me tell you that much. So to recover after these experiences is going to take you some time. More than likely, if you've been dating somebody for at least a year or close to a year or years, it's going to take you at least 6 months of healing for that each year. And that's another thing is you don't want to rush your healing. You got to feel it to heal it. And so it's very important for you to not concentrate on the person that you just exited a relationship with. You want to concentrate on yourself, because it ain't gonna do you no good concentrating on them. The only thing that's very important about them is all the red flags that you should have seen you didn't see, and then you want to concentrate on healing those things, because yes, as you mentioned, Stella, attracting from a womb instead of a place of healing. And that's very important. And so you want to make sure that you are healing all of these little kinks in your armor, basically, best way to put it. All these little, you want to heal them all. And so you need to be brutally honest with yourself. Don't beat yourself up, but be brutally honest with yourself. And then you need to attack one of these things. Now, when I say attack, I'm not meaning actually attack, but you should form a plan to heal each one of these items one at a time, And maybe one of the things that helps me a lot of times is I write them down. I have a journal. I write them down, and then I concentrate, because I do a lot of self-reflecting, and I spend a lot of time by myself, because it's important for me to always focus on myself, my energy, and make sure that I am right. I mean, when I say right, like when I am displaying correct energy to everyone, not just people that see me on YouTube, but people that I meet in public, if I'm in a grocery store or anywhere else. And you'll be able to tell once your energy starts changing, because people will come up to you. People will start making comments. People will divulge information to you that you don't even know. That's just a few examples of how that works. And the main thing is you need to know your own boundaries. And if you don't know your own boundaries, how's anybody else going to know your boundaries? So it's important to maybe write down, make a list of things that's important to you. When you go into a relationship, what things are important to you? What are non-negotiable to you? What things, there's somebody, stepped over those boundaries, that, that's a game changer. The game's over. You got to know those things, because if you don't know those things, no one else is going to know those things. And that's why it's important for us to do our inner work. Spend time with yourself. Don't rush it. Just as I mentioned, don't rushing relationships. Don't rush the relationship with yourself either. Yeah, so there's a lot of different ways that you can end up helping yourself, but I will tell you the main thing that helps me is spending time alone, being brutally honest with myself, concentrating on my personal development. Still, you've mentioned a few items, tools, books, to be able to help with your personal development. There's lots of information online. But I would say the main thing going into relationships is to, in any relationship, platonic or romantic, is to always keep the quote by Maya Angelou in the forefront of your mind. When a person tells you they are, believe them. Always believe them. It's the same thing with your intuition. If your intuition is you can feel your intuition in your gut, then you should always listen to that little inner voice. That little inner voice can have a huge impact on your life if you choose to listen. And I share this all the time, but Dr. Wayne Dyer, he would say that if prayer is us talking to God, then our intuition is God talking to us. But we have to want to listen. Yeah, that is true, Stella. Many people did not connect to self due to issues in childhood. Yeah, it was how the relationship was developed between parents and child, and that's a very good point, because as I mentioned, and I even have a playlist on attachment styles, but those that have a dismissive avoidant attachment style, or a fearful avoidant attachment style, they will do things without you even knowing it. They won't tell you things. You have to read up, and I did some videos on this, but one of the things that you'll notice in the beginning is they attempt to attach extremely quickly. And that's where you start seeing the love bombing. And you want to make sure that you identify that extremely quickly, because usually after 30 days of doing that, then you start moving to another phase with an insecure person. If they're a dismissive avoidant attachment style, or fearful avoidant attachment style, then after that, what will happen is you'll start noticing they trying to distance themselves, and they start being hot and cold, and they start being wishy-washy. You would think that basically you're going into a very positive relationship, but you're not. You're not, because this person ain't ready for a relationship and never will be ready for a relationship, because they have a ton of inner work that they have to do in order to overcome being an insecure attachment style and moving to a secure attachment style. And this is not to demonize anyone or anything like that. This is just a fact. You can look it up online, or go check out my playlist, and I listed some information in there that you guys can go look at also, so you can understand for yourself. But this is part of that vetting people process. Love bombing and trauma bonding. Yeah, that's true. But that's why you have to be healed, because if you ain't healed, then you're still looking. You're still attracting people from a place of hurt. You're attracting what is within you, basically. And you don't want to do that. And that's why it's very important to take as much time for yourself as you can. Look, man, there's like 4 billion dudes and chicks in this world. The right person will be the right person at the right time, man. You don't have to force it. I had to learn this And it took a while for me to be able to figure this out, but because I was extremely hard-headed and I had to go through a lot of experiences to basically, and a lot of these experiences were remedial courses. And it's frustrating because when I look back, I'm like, God, I wasted so much time on people that I should never have given an ounce of time to. And that's why it's important for you to, concentrate on you, because you're in the control of who's in your life and who's not in your life. And if you allow people that are not in your house good in your life, then you're gonna get exactly you're gonna get exactly that. You're gonna get that. I mean, you're gonna get what you kind of allowed in your life, right? So that's why I always concentrate. I know people are probably tired of hearing personal development, but really, honestly, guys, you're 50% of any relationship. You're in total control of your life. You're in total control of who is in your life and who's not in your life. And you have to be able to vet people properly. I don't know why this bug wants to be in my video. Anyway, that's why it's so important to vet people properly and work on yourself. And so, but yeah, anyway, guys, yeah, so if you have any more questions, go ahead and put them in the chat, or a topic you want to talk about. But I'm already at the 46-minute mark. And if you're taking part in the King Tridents Transformational Challenge that we began at the beginning of this year, we're at day 105. And how's everybody doing? Yeah, personal development is power, knowledge is power, but knowledge is only power if you choose to understand the knowledge that is being given to you. And that includes, people always look at bad situations. Hey, Heather from Maryland. People always look at bad situations as just that, as bad, but there's actually positive to that. There's knowledge in those bad experiences that you must learn from, so that way that they never repeat. You always want to learn what you should have learned before you got to that experience, so that way you never get to that experience again. But yeah, so that anyway, that we're at the 105-day mark of the transformational challenge, and I'm doing pretty good. I probably, let me see, I'm probably down about 10 to 12 pounds, and I'm actually gonna be going hardcore for the rest of this month. Yeah, well, these gnats, they coming from my prize hydrangea that I have in here. I know exactly where they come from, but and I've tried to get rid of them, but they just, man, they pesky. They want to stick around. I can't wait till it gets a little warmer outside. I can put my hydrangea outside, so that way that the birds can take care of them. So, but anyway, so yeah, it's been real good, the transformational challenge, and I'm waiting on. I had to go order a part for my elliptical, because I like using an elliptical because it's low impact on my knees, because I have terrible knees. I try and preserve them. So then I'm gonna start back running 8 miles a day. So that'll be good. I can start doing that again, and yeah, it's been real good, man. I tell you what, every day is a good day, huh? So, but yeah, we're getting down to where it's hopefully, what's that? Amazon has a device called Levo, and it gets them. Oh yeah, I seen an advertisement for that. Let's see this. Jordan says everything feels wrong when you are in a separation, though. What do you mean by that, Jordan? Everything feels wrong when you're in a separation. Separate. Like separation feels wrong? I don't know what you mean by that. That can mean a lot of things. Thanks, Stella. I appreciate it. I want to keep on going, man. Today. Twin from your twin. Oh. Yeah. Well, part of that is, I mean, I know a lot of people always focus on, people focus on separation a lot. And I know that sometimes it's really hard to not focus on separation because we always focus on the 3D. But really it's the 5D connection that matters. And separation is just an illusion. I mean, I know people, if people don't see it, then they don't believe it. That's kind of how people are. But as much as you're a human, you're also a spirit at the same time. And the twin flame connection is a spiritual connection. And, you know, we have to learn, because a lot of twin flames go through a lot of toxic things, or they have toxic behaviors. And those are things that whenever you get to the cocoon phase, that you're supposed to focus on your healing, your personal development, which includes your deliberate development, self-improvement, and personal healing. And you always need to do what's in your highest good, no matter the label or the connection. Meaning, because, I mean, unfortunately, not all twins come into 3D union. Now, 5D union, you're in union, 5D. In 3D, though, you might not come into union, and people don't want to hear that. I mean, you know, it's just something that is true. I mean, I've seen it. I help people. I help masculines and feminines. I mean, and I've seen it in my own connection. It's just the way it is. And sometimes certain things are way more important than 3D union with your twin. And I know that I can understand what you're saying, Jordan, but like, for instance, I'm probably never going to come into union. I'll leave my connection up to the divine, but I will tell you what's most important to me. The most important to me is my purpose and what I'm doing to help other people. That's what's most important to me. And it's more important than that connection in the 3D. The desire for connection with something external is the signal to do the work and connect to self. Yeah, you're always drawn back to you. And I know people always like, I need to find happiness, or you don't need to find it. It's within you. If you can't be by yourself, you can't sit alone, you can't enjoy the time with yourself, then that's some work that needs to be done. It's not to say that it's not to be critical upon you, because that was something that I had to learn too. I mean, it's not that I'm just trying to help here, but it's important that we're able to be with self, meaning you can be by yourself in silence. You don't have to have white noise. You don't have to have TV on. You don't have to have any kind of electronic devices to distract you or anything like that. You are completely happy and at peace with yourself, because you have love for yourself, and you can feel the love within yourself, and you know that love is very peaceful, and you're extremely happy. And I know it takes some time to be able to do that. Sometimes it takes quite a bit of time in order to get to that point. This is not a McDonald's drive-through. I mean, you ain't gonna get, everybody wants everything right now. Well, the more time you spend on yourself, the faster it will come to yourself. You have to put in the work, the meditation, the praying, the 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 personal development. All of that actually goes with your personal healing, because meditation helps with healing. But everything that you're doing should be centered around deliberate development, self-improvement, and personal healing. I'm not gonna be able to pronounce Anya. Is that how you say your name? Um, Thanks, I appreciate your compliment. Jordan says, yeah, that makes sense. I need inner peace for sure. I was so mad at my twin, and I swear at him, felt so bad. And so yeah, it is, man. It's the energy can be disruptive. It can disrupt everything in your life, your human life. And until you learn to be at peace with self, then it's not just your twin flame that's going to disrupt your life. It's anything or anyone that's going to disrupt your life. That needs to go away. But yeah, peace within self. People always say they're trying to find peace. I always think it's funny, but it's really not funny. I mean, I laugh at a lot of things I probably shouldn't laugh at. I'm sure the divine is like, what? Well, divine has a sense of humor too. Stud says, I think folks are bombarded with the coupling images from social media and the subliminal suggestions that another person is needed to complete self. Yeah, I mean that happens. No matter what label is put upon a relationship. The fact is until you're in union with self, then everything else is just not gonna work, man. It's not gonna work. Yeah, find your other half. Yeah. I mean, you're a whole person, man. You're a whole person. And it really all comes down to your inner work and your soul. This is just your garage. Now, your soul is in your garage. Your soul knows what's best for you, and doesn't need any help. And so until you can learn that, basically embody peace, love, and happiness, then there's going to be lots of disruptive forces that come in and out of your human experience. And a lot of people, you see them blaming these things, but if you are already at peace, they can't disrupt your peace. You know what I'm saying? Because you embody peace. And the only thing is if you're not really embodying peace, and you allow these different entities to venture into your life and cause disruption. Yeah, healthier connections versus toxic attachments. Yeah, and that's why it's really good to understand your attachment style. Take the attachment style test, and I have a playlist, like I mentioned, for attachment styles. And knowing whether or not you're an insecure attachment style or a secure attachment style. And that's very important. But yeah, good points. Good conversation about that. I like that a lot. Does anybody else have any other questions or topics that you want to talk about before I get off of here? I really hope each one of you have a blessed day and enjoy, if it's a nice weather, being outside or whatever it may be. But just know, it's very important for us to vet our relationships, no matter if it's platonic or romantic. Extremely important. This is how you do not waste your invaluable time and energy. And the more you invest in yourself, the more you invest in the relationships, even if the relationships haven't happened and they're going to be future relationships. When you invest in yourself, you're investing in those. And you're making sure that you are only centered around those that have your best interest and your highest good. And that's what's most important for you. And so always keep that in mind. Always maintain your boundaries, your self-love, self-worth, and self-respect, and never allow anybody else. That should be non-negotiable number one for everyone. If anybody ever tries to cross those boundaries that of your self-love, self-respect, and self-worth, then that should be a non-negotiable, and you should move on. Send unconditional love and move on. So with that, you guys, I'm at the hour mark. I appreciate each one of you stopping by. It was nice chatting with you. If you have any questions, feel free to put them in the comments of this video, or you can email me, kingtridentstribe@gmail.com. And with that, you guys, I'll be releasing a new video this week, the one that I said I was going to release. I'm going to release that one this week. And with that, you guys, the 3 most important things in life is peace, love, and happiness. Until next time, take care.